particular on their mind?
Okay, good. Welcome to Primetime Notaries. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening. This is the second week in July already.
I just can't believe it.
I know time is flying. We're already halfway through the year. Anyway, thank you for joining us. My name is Phyllis Traylor, and I am in beautiful Shirts, Texas. And I am on this evening, part of the platform with Beth, Hathoot, and Carol Ray. And we have a special guest also that's coming on this evening. Somebody that Carol Ray is working closely with. I'll let Carol tell you more about that.
This young fellow is, his name is Ronnie. He owns Unlimited Ink Notary, and he has put together a program in the last year called Notary Stars. And what he's doing is, I'm really excited about it because I think we have pretty good training at Notary to Pro. I know the students out there of ours feel that way. But he's adding another dimension to it, more than what I could or really wanted to do. I've always wanted to just provide the basic training. But what he's doing is he's getting together with a team of his, and he has the ability, because of his connection with different lenders and title companies, to get documents. That's been my hardest problem over the years, is I've never been able to get anybody to get me blank documents. So I go through a typical set of loan documents, which so far have worked really well for our students, but there's so much more out there, you know, the VA loans and the HELOCs and all of the different types of FHA loans and all of this. And so they are working on doing specific training on each set of documents. I don't know when he's starting, but I need to find out from him when he is doing the specific document training for each set, and what they call, what he's calling boot camp. And it's very intense training for anybody that belongs. And I think what I'll have him do when he comes, I'll have him tell you all about it and what the cost is, which is very minimal, and it's so worth it. And that's all. I'll wait till he comes. I know he's a busy guy. So we'll just have to wait, see if anybody has anything on their mind right now.
Okay.
Oh, here he is. There's Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie. This is Ronnie Mickle. And I just told him a little bit about what you're doing with your boot camp and everything. And so if you wouldn't mind telling everybody what exactly you're up to with boot camp and what the cost is, and just take it from there. Do you mind?
I don't mind. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can.
All right. So I don't know how much you know about me, but my name is Ronnie, and I own Unlimited Ink Notary and NotaryStars.com. They are completely separate businesses. Notary Stars is for everybody. Unlimited Ink, I have no shame in saying I run it like a family, and I bring on notaries all over the country, and I treat them just like family. I see Miss Hathoot on here. She's definitely one of our notaries here in Arizona. And when I work with my notaries, I work with them very closely. And if they need help, I train them. I used to be able to train them one-on-one individually, get what I needed, and then I started reaching out to Miss Carol to retrain everybody. And then the way I train is much different than Miss Carol. And I always say that she is the best foundation that you can get as a notary, and actually make it a requirement that you have a Notary to Pro certificate on our team. So the notaries that work on our major city teams, they are Notary to Pro graduates, or they just don't work with us. They may start out taking a file here or there, and then we encourage them to get their Notary to Pro certificate. And when they start seeing how many orders they'll miss, they wind up getting the certificate. Once I start letting them see the orders, they like, oh wow, like maybe it's worth the investment, and it really is. And then So what I've done with Notary Stars over the last couple of years, I've had a dream of a directory that actually gave something back to me. I'm not a fan of 123 Notary. I'm not a fan of Notary Rotary, and Notary Cafe I think is just a crapshoot. I personally never get business from those sites, and I pay into those sites just like everyone does because we need those listings out there because it's that one person that could call. I don't like that certain sites like 123 Notary will call you at random and give you some test and all of these things because they're not a certification course, and neither am I. So I wanted to put together something that could be a one-stop shop for notaries, and I thought, why do people go to 123 Notary? Well, they go there for a listing, and then they can also get a little certification that, you know, I'm not sure has any validity because I see problems with that course as well. I started seeing that there were a lot of courses out there outside of Miss Carroll's that didn't have validity or charge us an exorbitant amount of money to take those courses. And then I did an A/B test with Miss Carroll's graduates and these other courses, and they were definitely Notary to Pro was proof in the pudding, and the other courses just kind of fell to the wayside, and we won't use them. So I started looking at everything, why we go to these sites. So we go for hiring lists, we go for listings, we go for information, we go for products. And what started out as a directory, we now are a directory where we're getting inquiries from smaller title agencies and general public. My listings are not confounded to the site like these other directories. They actually give you a web page that people can book you direct and never see the other Notary Stars, or they can come and search by directory. We have a hiring list that are companies that I have personally worked for. I don't have anything on there yet that I have not ever taken a file from. That is going to be coming, but there will be verification processes for those companies that will be added. We started doing training on the site because I wanted to expand upon what we have available at Notary to Pro, which I, again, think is the excellent course. And I am not the only one who relies on Notary to Pro graduates. You know, there's over 100 companies. And if you guys don't believe me, I mean, go back and look at some of the videos that I've posted with Miss Carroll before. In programs like signingorder.com, there is a tick box that says, I only want a Notary to Pro graduate. And I send it to those graduates first. And then if I have to go off grid, I will, because not everyone in the world, unfortunately, is not a Notary to Pro graduate. I'm working on changing that. But I wanted to expand upon the training. And so what we do is I train live, and the way that I train is I go page by page. We start at the beginning of a package, and I say, okay, here's your settlement statement. This is all the information you can get off of a settlement statement and what you need to know. Here's something you can do to protect yourself, and here's what you need to do next. And we go page by page. We can stop, and you guys can ask questions. Even the replays on Notary Stars from the previous sessions, people like write me what I call fan mail, and I really appreciate it. They're like, wow, you know, like this is so much further. And, you know, I've talked with Miss Carroll about it because I would have never started doing this had Miss Carroll not given her blessing. I respect Notary to Pro so much that I would stop filming videos today if she asked me to. I am not a certification course. I am not I don't want to be your first stop. I'm not going to hold your hand at Notary Stars, and I wished I could say that I was, but at least I'm being honest with you. For me, I am your next step on training. We go over FHA loans. We don't do reverse mortgage. That is still Miss Carroll's court. I'm not a reverse mortgage company. I don't like them. I have a hard time with them myself. I did them when I was getting started, so I'm familiar with them. But I'm so busy these days that I can't take them, and I stay away from them because there's so much that goes into them. So I let that stay with Ms. Carroll. But we go over FHA loans, VA loans. We go over trust signings. We go over seller signings. We go over HELOCs. I bring information and videos sometimes to the signings and say, watch these before you watch our training. And so it's a way to continue training. But we don't just train on file packages. We train you on how to create your Facebook page. We train you on how to SEO your own website. We teach you about printing and scanning. We had a Notary Star who's at the Notary Star level. By the way, there's 3 packages on Notary Star. You can go all in for $25 a month. You can go what we call Notary Star Lite, which I thought was a great name for a medium package, Notary Star Lite. And you can get a certain amount of things. We had one of our Notary Star levels at the highest level, the $25 a month. You actually get a phone number, and you can call this number during business hours and after hours as well, as long as I'm awake. And you can get answers. And we've actually hired on people who will be answering questions after hours. Is it okay to say? You can just nod your head if it's okay. You probably know who I'm talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Miss Hathoot is one of the people that I've hired on recently. She's going to be training with me next week, and she will be one of the voices on Notary Stars, as well as my signing agency, because the phone lines are the same. But you're able to call in and ask questions about documents or situations, or get the support that you need, especially when the NNA line is closed. We can direct you to the right answer if we don't know the answer, and we don't promise we're going to know the answer every time, because sometimes you have to split a hair, right? Sometimes you have to say, look, this is how I've done it in the past, but in your state you may need to call your Secretary of State and point you in the right direction that way. The NNA will do the same thing with you. If they really don't know the answer, they're going to point you into the right direction to get the answer, because we have to be very careful about guiding people, and we don't want you to get in trouble. But we are a back pocket resource for notaries, and we do have an application. It's very dumbed down and easy. It's got your NNA rescission calendar on there. It's not as pretty as I like, and I keep saying that, but we are still tweaking it. What you see on notarystars.com right now, if you were to go and click on training videos, you see an example of single short clips. Those are not what we do in the training sessions. What we do in the training sessions is, and I have one right here. So I spent probably a week and a half of my life. This is a real file. You can't really see it because of the sunlight. This is a real file where I went through and I removed everyone's name, social security number, the lender's information. And it went through my eyes. It went through the escrow officer's eyes. It went through other team members' eyes. And we made sure that this is a real file, just the way it would look, only with no one's information. And we put this on the screen, and I go page by page, and I point and I click, and it's already filled out the way that it should be. And I tell you the common pitfalls that notaries do and the mistakes that they make and what to look for. And I hear people come back to me in this fan mail or these fan phone calls that I call them. I don't know what to call them at this point because I'm new at this. But I hear people going, oh, wow, when I'm at the table, I can hear you in my head. And I'm like, great, we're doing it. And that's what I do. You know, Notary Stars is not just a place where you can come and get a listing. It is not just a place where you can go get a hiring list. It's not just a place where you can go watch a few videos. It's actually live, like these sessions, where you can come in and then we go over the files and I pause and I ask, are there any questions? And your question, let's just say, oh, I talked to Miss Lorraine just the other day. How you doing? Let's just say Miss Lorraine asked the question and Miss Beth had been thinking that, but she was too shy to ask or forgot to ask. It's the group setting that I think really makes it what it is. I always tell people there's no HR in our industry. There's no force that comes together. And that's why I love this, this relationship that we've now truly established with Notary to Pro, because I want to bring other products onto the site, not just Notary to Pro. I will never, ever I will never, mark my words, as long as Notary to Pro is here, I will never endorse another training company. And I do not consider myself a certification course. I'm just helping out. But I do want to bring other products to you guys. You know, we all know about Page Separator, so I don't want to look at that. One of the things that comes from my business background is Booking.com is one of my idols because I used to own a hotel and I thought they were a great business. And I learned something from them. They only partnered with companies with things that they can't do in-house. So I can't be a beginning resource for notaries. So I don't do that. I endorse Miss Carol. I went out and found the best company to partner with. and partnered up with her. I want to look for other companies as well that can bring, you guys information and actually review it. I had a notary recently who wrote me about a course that they were offered to take, and I looked at the course and I actually went to someone's office and said, our notaries are considering paying for a course that says they want to do this. And they were like, we've never heard of this before. We would never use a notary for this. And I wrote them back and said, I don't believe I would spend my money on this. This company called Hire Notary. My signing agency does very well. Last year we did $1 million in revenue. Knock on wood, it continues. I don't have $1 million, so please don't ask for a loan. I paid 80% of that out to notaries. But I do have money to invest in projects. And so like these companies like Hire Notary, they try to get notaries to sign up. And then what I do is I actually go sign up for them. And then I try to get work from them. And if it doesn't work, then I let you guys know, like I've tried this, that they're, Miss Carol knows about this particular company, but I actually told people how they could get rid of this company as well. So that's what I'm doing with Notary Stars, and I'm not going to hide behind a website and disappear or hire people and disappear. I want this to be just like Miss Carol runs her company. I want this to be a family business with the notaries making the family. I just want to be the voice behind it. I don't think I'm better than anyone else on this planet. I do have a lot of experience, and part of the reason that I became so successful as a signing agent is because I moved out of my I'll be 40 tomorrow. I moved out of my parents' home at 15 years old, and I love my parents, but I never want to go back home. And I have never had to go back home, and I searched for a career that I could have stability and a great life for myself, and this has afforded me everything that I've ever wanted to do in life. And just over the last decade, I have done everything that I want to do. And I know that this is the career field for me, and I'm so passionately into it that I just feel like I needed to formulate a place where other people can come, because I'm sick of the negativity out there. I don't participate in notary forums because if you say one thing, even if it's polite, it seems like all the people out there bite your head off. And if I own this platform, then I can control that conversation. I can turn off comments. I can turn off the ability to do certain things. And I keep Notary Stars very clear, where notaries don't get to chatter back and forth and cause these problems. If we're here live face to face, most likely somebody who is bitter out there is not going to come on with a bunch of positive faces and go at it. We can just click them off the screen and move on with our lives. And I don't want those kind of notaries on Notary Stars. I've actually removed notaries from Notary Stars for being vulgar. They're not a part of the profession that I want to breed. And so I've built Notary Stars for more than just training, for more than just a directory, for more than a hiring list. I built it as a safe haven for notaries to come to and turn to in order to find things like Notary to Pro. If you go to Notary Stars and try to sign up, you'll see one of the things that we offer is a platinum membership, where you can get your Notary to Pro and the support from Notary Stars at the same time. And I want to continue to bring, products. The being able to call in and get support is now a part of memberships that wasn't a part of it before. We've built up the company to that point, and I want to continue to grow. I mean, we're reviewing products outside of answering questions in the evening. Miss Hathoot is also going to be doing a schedule of blogs for us, and those will be written and headed by her. We're working with other bloggers for the site, people that and respect out in the industry, if I can afford them. And as it continues to grow, I will continue to bring on people. I think I told it to Barbara earlier this week. It seems a lot to invest into the site, and I can honestly say every dollar from Notary Stars that we've made has gone back into Notary Stars. I have not spent any of that money. whether it be to pay an employee or hire a blogger or build something on the site. That doesn't go part of my income. It goes right back into the company. Maybe one day I can pay myself a salary from it, but my salary comes from Unlimited Ink. Notary Stars is something that I do outside of my signing agency to give back to our community.
So Ronnie, what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you?
Excuse me?
What's the best? Phyllis, meet somebody here.
You're on mute, Miss Hathoot.
What's the best way for someone to get in contact with you or access your website or be able to just look around and see who you are and who Notary Stars is?
So we have several ways. So we have done lots of conversations with Miss Carol on Notary to Pro. She has those on her page. We have done lots of videos, what signing agencies are looking for, etiquette. We did a video about Notary Stars that's on her page. I've reposted those to our Instagram TV, and people can go to our Instagram TV and look at it. They can go to Miss Carol's site. That brings a great point that if you hadn't attended one of these events, maybe I should have a video on notarystars.com. You can always write in off the website. Anybody who's ever written in will tell you I'm on the emails like pretty quickly. I stalked Miss Lorraine just to get her to talk with me the other day. She had written me, and I guess she didn't need a response very fast, but it was very important for me to get back to her. You can always email. Now, we only provide the number for the Notary Star membership. At this point, you have to be buying into it in order to have access to the number to call at any time at will. And that's because we're not at a point where I can field calls where people say, I have to schedule that time out. Like people write me, Miss Lorraine wanted to know the difference between the memberships. And I called her when I could conveniently call her. So writing in is the best way right now. But we will eventually get to the point. And that's because I'm selfish. I'm not even going to lie. I want to be the one to talk to everyone because
So I'm sorry, Ronnie, go ahead.
I want to be the one to talk to everyone because I know how this heart beats and what I want, the care and concern that I want for every member of the site. So that's why we haven't added a phone number where it can just call in at any time, because I want to make sure that when someone from Notary Stars reaches out, that they're getting the respect that they deserve, and that those who have signed up know that I call and ask you about your business, and I go in and tweak your listing and say, we could do it better this way. And I really want that type of thing, because the notary line is truly for notaries who are in trouble. It's not about inquiring on the site. You can always send an email to inquire.
Okay, so you're saying just people, if they can't find you on Carol Ray's Notary to Pro, that they can go directly to notarystars.com and click on the contact link and maybe even see a little bit of something on there without being a member. Okay.
Correct.
Cool. Very good.
Yeah, we're always available.
Okay, so Carol,
even when I'm not available, I'm available.
I think that Valerie has finally gotten logged on. Do you see her there? Carol? Or Phyllis? Looks like Phyllis lost her video.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you are, Miss Valerie.
Still working,
Here's
so
Valerie.
I'm sort of just listening.
Okay, so we haven't gone through our introductions. If we want to start that first, Phyllis, go ahead and lead off for us.
Okay. My name is Phyllis Traylor, and I think I did introduce myself. Again, I am in Texas, And I do, despite what some say, I do have a training academy in Texas, and I think it's a great, great place for Texas notaries to learn how to become signing agents and also Texas notary publics. And I have been a great fan and great friend of Carol Ray's for many years. And I'm so happy that I was invited to be a part of this panel. This was the idea that Beth and Carol Ray came up with, and I just feel blessed to be here. Thank you. Let's go to you,
Traylor,
Beth.
I just want to let you know I was not talking about you earlier when I said other trading companies. I meant everybody who wants to put it together. I'm talking about the make six figures company. That's the one that I anybody who does it with care and concern, I love. But that one snake in the grass, I'm not too much of a fan of.
Okay, so he wasn't referring to you, Phyllis. Somebody
No, I
else.
just wanted to let everybody know that I do training too.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Beth Hathoot. I am an old notary located in sunny Arizona, sunny hot Arizona, sunny hot 117-degree Arizona this weekend coming up. And I have previously been in title and escrow here in the Valley. I did own a signing service right up until the time the market crashed, and then everybody had to reset and reboot and get started in a different direction. Carol and I have been friends for a number of years. Carol used to be here in Arizona until she left me by myself and moved to sunny California. But yes, we came up with this brain. I actually was talking to her about issues that some older notaries have, trying to change how they do business in this business. And wouldn't it be nice if we could just have a little tea and coffee with somebody? Well, Carol said, okay, we'll put together a webinar where we can talk about some of the challenges we have as older notaries. And so that's how we came up with this. Miss Valerie Dennis is here. She's also a co-host of this webinar. Valerie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Valerie Dennis, and I live just up the road from Miss Phyllis. And between Carol and Phyllis and a couple of other people, I think I have learned how to be a notary and learned how to do loan signings. I am now, I'm also a commissioned online notary, and that has helped increase my business without spending any gas. I've not been a notary for even 3 years yet, but one of the things that my philosophy is learn as much as you can, as fast as you can, so that when you get out there, you don't feel like you don't know anything. So I study the law. Phyllis will tell you that every now and then I'll get she'll get a question that says, what does this really mean? Well, what's your take on this? What did Mr. Sumner say? Mr. Sumner's is the one, the big cheese, I think, at our SOS. Anyhow, I take calls now and then. I'm the owner, well, sort of the owner. I'm the administrator of Safe Haven for New Notaries. We are there for the purpose of pretty much holding your hands, answering those questions that usually start out, this is probably a stupid question. Those kind of questions, none of them are stupid, but that's what Safe Haven is there for. We are there to catch you in that net of, I don't even know who to ask. I can't even ask the question to get the answer because I'm so confused. That's pretty much, we'll sort you out and get you on the right track. And a lot of times we say, call title, but anyhow, so that's me in a nutshell.
And Safe Haven for New Notaries, Valerie, is a Facebook site.
It's a Facebook group, right? And I recognize a few of the names on here, and so yeah, if you're not in Safe Haven and you join, make sure you answer all of the questions and agree to the rules. Otherwise, you'll just get declined and nobody will tell you why. Beth is one of my moderators.
Oh.
Carol?
Okay, guys. Carol, Miss Carol.
Oh, really?
She's muted. You're muted,
Oh,
Carol.
she has a green mic on my side.
Oh, does she?
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh. Could be her internet.
She's
Oh,
not
she
muted.
needs to move just because she needs better internet.
She should move. Okay, let me do our notary hack for the month here. So last week, what was our notary hack? Can't remember.
Well, it was last month, and that was like
Oh,
way too long ago to
last
remember.
month, yeah, last month's notary hack, we talked about an app called Live Transcribe. And that's what we were talking about using when we are dealing with signers who are deaf or just hard of hearing, kind of like us, can't hear too good. And it provides a way to type out what you're saying on a screen where you can set it up on your tablet, set it in the middle of the table. And if they don't understand what you're saying, they don't have to embarrass themselves by asking you again. They can just look at the screen and read it, and then it works out really well. This week, we're going to talk about kind of something a little simpler, something just to keep us all safe, and that's your car keys. When we go to a lot more homes now than we ever did before. Because of COVID, we're not doing very many Starbucks meetings or Denny's restaurants or even office buildings because they won't let you in. You end up going to a signer's home more often now than we ever did before, even though that was a good part of our process when we sign. So when we talk about car keys on you, for guys, of course, put it in your pants pocket, put it in your pocket. Don't put it in your bag or your briefcase. If you need to make a quick exit, that would be a terrible shock to get out to your car and realize the keys are sitting on the table at your signing. For ladies, the same thing. Don't put your keys in your bag. Don't put it in your briefcase. If you have to, I wear a lanyard with an ID on it, and my keys are set up this way with this little hook on the top. And I just hook that onto my lanyard like that, and my keys hang there. Now, sometimes if I wake up, and you realize again, we're old, so we wake up with little sore aches and pains. If my neck is hurting, I'm not gonna hang this 8 ounces around my neck. So I will clip this onto the belt loop on my pants. If I don't have a belt loop on my pants, I'm gonna take a safety pin and put it in the waistband of my pants. And then I'm gonna clip this to it every time I get out of my car. You're not holding the keys, you're not laying them on the table when you go into a signing, and you're not throwing them down in your bag. Who knows, you might have to run out without your bag. That's my hack for the week, guys. What does anybody else do with their keys? Anybody have any comments or hacks that they want to throw in when we're talking about keys?
Well, you know, one of the greatest disparities in life is the fact that women's pants don't have pockets.
Yeah, that's why that safety pin
But
comes in handy.
I searched long and hard to find pants that have 2 pockets, 2 deeper pockets in the front, because I keep business cards on one side and my keys and my phone can go in the other.
Yeah.
So everything that I have to have if I have to run out the door can be in my pockets. And you know, ladies' pants with pockets aren't the prettiest, but I decided I did not care. I'm going to be comfortable. I'm going to feel safe. And the other thing about having pockets that you can get into easily is keep those business cards in that front pocket. And I'm telling you what, I hand business cards out to in the street. Well, I used to. Now I don't go anywhere, so except to people's houses. But every now and then somebody will be saying something. I'm like, if you think you're going to need a notary, go ahead and give us a call and hand them a card. And they're like, oh, wow, you're a notary? I got my paper right there in the car. I'm like, I really want to go home. I have been parking lot stocked because I have signs on the car. And that can be a unique situation too, but pockets, or the
Well,
landlord, anything that you can keep those keys on your person.
yeah, and remember now, those cards, business cards in your front pocket, you could also take them out and throw them like a ninja star. And
There
that
you
might
go.
help you too.
If I could throw.
Yeah, I do the same thing as a realtor. We've always been taught to always have our keys on our body, you know, to if you have to take off, because some realtors have run into some very serious situations, and
Right.
I haven't run into any of that as a notary, because most of my notarizations and stuff that I do are within my circle of influence. So I've always had somebody that else is there, either the investor or, you know, I knew the buyer or I knew the seller or something. So it was, you know, a little
Right.
easier. But I can understand that can be really dangerous at night. But they also told me about when, and it's not necessarily you want to have to do it, but nifty little thing about those kind that have the button on them, the key pops out, the key that part that goes into the ignition pops out. You can hold that between your fingers as a defense, and have that sticking out, you know, just to protect you if you have to, you know, field somebody off that actually tries to pounce on you. So that's my
What I do, I like the idea with hanging the keys on the lanyard, because like Valerie said, a lot of pants don't have pockets. So what I do is to put the key in my pant, and I usually wear slacks when I'm going to someone's home. If I don't have pockets, I will slip that key in the waistband, like the big part of the key. I slip that into my waistband, because what I found was that part goes in my waistband. So I've got easy access to the key. And even when I have pockets, I may still do that because some of the pockets are not deep enough and they may fall out. And if they fall out on the floor and I'm trying to make a quick getaway, keys are on the floor. So I just always flip right in my waistband. But I also wanted to say to Ronnie, I too am a trainer. I am an excellent trainer in North Texas. So I just wanted to drop that for you as well. I know you said to Phyllis you weren't talking about those of us who are these little small fries, but the big ones. But I know that I have an outstanding training program. So I just wanted to say I do an awesome job training, especially notaries here in North Texas. My primary focus is North Texas. However, I have trained as far as Illinois, Tennessee, and Florida. So anyway, but I'm not trying to corner the market. I'm not trying to buy the table, as some people say. I'm just looking for a seat at the table as far as my training is concerned. So if you have an opportunity, I invite you to check out my website at www.echconsulting.com. And I will be looking at your information because I like to refer people to other people's training, because one type training does not fit all. People have got to find the right training that's right for them, and you can't stop at just one training. Training is continuous. So I will be looking at your program for an opportunity to refer some people to your training.
I also want to tell you guys, I just 1 second. I also want to tell you guys, if you look at the bottom of Notary Stars at the very bottom, there's myself that says local trainer, and then Miss Carol is the only one listed as a national trainer. And my goal is, like for California, I'd like to have several, but I want trainers across the bottom of Notary Stars, people who are not listing on there for their notary work. I want special listings for local trainers like yourself. The companies that I speak of, there are some bad companies out there, and we all know about them. They pull in notaries and charge lots of exorbitant amount of money, and then call Miss Carol saying I didn't learn anything. But I'm not talking about people who are doing it honestly. I don't believe if you're on this call that you would be doing it in a bad light, because I know the relationships Miss Carol has. Probably I should check myself before I say things sometimes, but I am looking for people to advertise as local trainers, because I think it would be an amazing asset. Like I said, I'm always looking for products to point out, like, if you're in Austin, this is the closest trainer we could find to you. If you're in, you know, California, Los Angeles, here's a local trainer for you. Miss Carol, I've already promised her that I will never put another national trainer on there. And I don't consider myself a national trainer. I train for Arizona, what we do here in our files, and I even tell that in my training. But I've written down both of your names, actually, and I also wrote down Valerie Dennis, because I'm learning a lot here. I wrote down, I've actually worked with Miss Valerie before. She's done notaries for us before. But I would like to get that safe haven on there. These Facebook groups and things, I'd like to point notaries in those directions.
So what is it with all these trainers in Texas? Come on, Liz. Liz and Phyllis.
That's because our Secretary of State gives us virtually nothing.
Well, mine came from
Nothing.
Carol. Mine came directly from Carol. Carol approached me many, many years ago and asked me to do training for Texas. She started a project where she was going to do training for all 50 states. And so she asked me to do Texas. And she showed me how step by step to do the training. And so that's how I got into training, was directly from Carol Ray, and I just kind of expanded it from there. But I'm already, I mean, I'm a former assistant professor. I was already teaching anyway. You know, I mean, I have a master's degree in adult and higher education. So this was just a natural transition to continue what I had already been doing.
Well, there's nothing natural necessarily about it for me. The notary world, to be honest with you, was not natural for me. I kind of fell into it about 5 years ago because I was looking for something to supplement my income. I'm retired. I am a retired mortgage banker. I'm a 30 years mortgage banking, and I retired. And after a few years running around, traveling, whatever, spent all my money, realized I needed to supplement my income. And someone told me to do mobile notary. No, I'm not doing that because I don't want to drive. But I also have about 30 years of training experience, creating programs, so forth and so on. So I kind of fell into this thing. It kind of, I just kind of became a business by mistake, let's say. I wasn't trying to make it a business. I just needed $500 a month. But it just kept growing and growing and growing. And then it's like, I got to step into this because you know how you have talents, and if we don't use them, then, you know, God will take them. So and then I had a few friends nudging me on, and I was training people for free. And then one friend said, Liz, you need to do this. I'm like, no. So she hounded me. So in 2018, I made it formal for the loan signing training. And then, of course, I had seen Phyllis on some of these groups. I reached out to Phyllis. She told me about Carol Ray and Notary Pro and what she did with them. And I went to see Phyllis. Phyllis is my mentor. And I am just loving the fact that I can create value. And as I said, I'm retired. So I'm not trying to corner the market, but I do want my seat at the table. So here I am. I'm the North Texas trainer, and a damn good one, I might add. Right, Phyllis?
This is good.
She sounds like she's from Texas, doesn't she?
Actually, Beth, I'm from Illinois, but I've been in Texas for 25 years.
Yeah.
So I'm a Texan now.
Well, I have to say too that there are all kinds of trainers out there, lots of different programs, and listen, lots of them popping up on the internet and in our Facebook groups every day. hopefully the content is good. But most people will choose a training program based on where they're at the time, or what their personality is, what motivates them. The Mark Willis program doesn't entice me at all at any price. He's just not my style. I can't learn from somebody who's just hyping me up all the time like that. I need kind of more of a gentle training, hand-holding type of process. Carol did that for me in 2012, Carol? I can't hear you, babe. I'm sorry. But
Her
anyway,
microphone is not working.
yeah.
It's on.
Yeah, it says it's on my side. I mean, it looks like it is, but
Yeah, it is.
Ronnie's training is something that speaks to me. Bill Soroka's training speaks to me. I don't think I could ever get it. And something else that you're spot on about, Liz, is that you don't stop learning or stop training. If you're doing this, you're always learning and you're always training and you're always open to new information, because things change, you know. And the guy playing football doesn't say he doesn't need a coach because he made it to the pros. He still trains every day. That's what I do. Yeah. But Mark Willis won't ever appeal to me at any price. There's another new one out there, Notary Blueprint or something, and he's kind of a goofball, and that almost appeals to me because I like goofballs, but yeah, still not my style. But it depends on where you are in life. Now, the older we get, I don't think the used car salesman is going to be the person that we're going to be looking to, but I could be wrong. So
I sure wish we could hear Carol,
I do too.
because she's saying some good stuff.
She is. I know she is. Her mouth's moving.
I don't know why we can't
While
hear
we're
her.
waiting for Carol to get on, I just also want to say I've been on this group once before, and then I was so excited because I'm not going out signing as much anymore. I was so excited to get on this one. I was trying to sign on last night.
A day ahead of time.
I was trying, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get on. And then of course it popped on my after a while I just gave up. And then of course it popped up on my reminder this morning. I said, well, oh shoot. I didn't say shoot, but I said, that's why I couldn't get on last night.
That's why. I'm going to send Carol a message here and see if she can dial audio in on her phone. Maybe we can hear her that way.
Yeah, because we can't hear you at all, Carol.
And I know it's some good stuff.
I was going to say something, but I can't remember now.
Were we talking too much?
Well,
Okay, but that's why we all. That's
She's
why we
calling
all.
in. She's gonna
You
call.
come back.
your phone
Oh,
up.
she can't call. Carol, can you call? She needs the number. Oh, okay. She needs the number. What is the number? Let me look it up right quick.
Oh, I was going to talk about, I know we talked about this probably the first and the second meeting, but you know, we're talking about safety, and my hack has always been that Google Calendar. Keeping the calendar where it has the phone number of the people I'm going to see, the address where I'm going to meet them, their home address if, you know, we're meeting somewhere else, the service that I'm working with, so that if I don't show back up at home at a reasonable time, my husband will know where I'm at or where
Carol,
I've.
put it in the, I'm sorry, Valerie. Let me just tell Carol. I'm putting the number in the chat. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to remind you that sometimes there are bits of technology. The Google Calendar can be shared with multiple people. And I highly recommend that nobody leaves home is without their somebody other than your signing service, your hiring entity knowing where you're going. Some family member, some friend, you know, just because who knows, you might break down. And if you break down and your phone dies, my phone died because I forgot to charge it. So it was, I had like 3% power. I couldn't even see it because the screen went off. And so, you know, you might end up in a situation where nothing bad happened where you were closing, but on the way home, your tire blew out, you couldn't call anybody, and at least they know which way you were going so they could track
That's,
you. So
oh,
anyways, Carol, is she there?
yeah, she asked for the access code.
Oh, so many rules.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, I just sent you the access code.
While we're waiting for her to sign in, I want to say one more thing about safety. I have a lot of clients that tell us, you know, to travel to the appointment, if you hear from the signers or not. And I've actually been out signing during COVID myself because, you know, we're lower on notary here in lower on notaries in Arizona. And I had an experience where I went into a not so nice neighborhood here and the clients had not confirmed. And then I get there and they're in this really dark house with the lights off, which sometimes in Arizona, it looks like all the lights are off because we have screens on our windows. But I called title and I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not in the neighborhood where I feel comfortable getting out of this car without someone or light in the situation. So they didn't get their signing. And if you know anything about Arizona, it was Maryville. And Maryville is, you know, we had a serial killer there recently. It's not a nice area of town. So I say practice safety. If your signers have not confirmed with you and you go somewhere that doesn't feel like getting out of your car, don't get out of your car. And you know, I'm not in a position to defend myself. I look like I'm okay, but from the waist down, I broke my back years ago. I can't defend myself. I'm not even going to try. So I don't put myself in situations where I could. So when you're practicing safety, if it's not safe, don't do it.
Well, Maryville might as well be the hood. And I don't go there after dark.
Yeah, it's.
Can you hear me, Phyllis?
Yes, we can hear you.
I've had a gun pulled over me there.
I forgot I was going to say.
You finally on.
No, I was going to say that blueprint guy, he's the one who got on Facebook and we found out he was calling himself Notary to Pro. And I threatened him and he said he didn't do it. But then he wrote and said, I didn't do it, but I called Google and told him to take it down.
Google doesn't do that just randomly.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. But I wanted to find out what people are doing. How are they handling the COVID thing? I mean, all of you out there. Are you doing signings? What are you doing?
I haven't been taking any person-to-person signings anymore. I'm trying to do everything online, but I don't know, you know, signing, if I start signing up with signing agencies, which I haven't done. I've been a notary for over 5 years, but most of my jobs have come other ways. But now that I'm, you know, beefing up my education, you know, reviewing documents and that kind of thing, and going through Carol's course now, finishing that up. You know, what do you do if you're not going to go out? You don't want to get signed up on all these signing agencies and they start texting you all these assignments, but then what? You know, I don't want to keep turning everybody down. So that's a little bit of a dilemma.
Well, what I've been doing, because I've been signing, well, actually, I've been doing this for 5 years, a little over 5 years. And I am basically, since the beginning, I was 100% SnapDocs, and now I'm about 95% SnapDocs. I have some direct business. But as of the first of this month, I turned my SnapDocs off. and I only work for one company now, one signing service and one title company. I'm only doing cash outs, so I will go to one title company. And I have turned my SnapDocs off until September 1st. Hopefully we'll have some relief from the COVID-19. But I turned my SnapDocs off in March. I turned it back on the 1st of May, and I worked through the month of May. And because the numbers in North Texas have gotten, in my county, Tarrant County, they've gotten worse as far as the COVID-19 infection. So I just turned it off, and I'm doing just one. That's why I'm able to be on this call, because I'm not out signing all the time. But also it gives me an opportunity to focus more on my training. I do 3 training classes a month, and I'm working on a fourth one. So it gives me more time to work on improving. I'm always improving my training programs. So that's what I'm focusing on more now than the signings, is my training programs.
So for us older notaries, and there's a question in the chat, remote online notarizations would be another vehicle to help you kind of stay at home during COVID, and because maybe we don't want to do as much as we get older than we did when we were young go-getters. So those remote online notarizations might be an option for those who are in the states that can do that. Zach Manaya, don't know if I pronounced that right, is asking if anybody has any advice, any way to point him to which RON training would be recommended.
What state is he in? What state are you in?
He doesn't run, is that?
He's in Texas. I have some
Texas.
RON training on my in the Texas Notary Training Academy. I can send you the link to that.
Phyllis, yeah, I didn't see the link. Could you send that to me as well?
I'll send it to you. I just posted in here, and it's all online, self-paced.
I know
And
you
so,
got
in Arizona, we actually are coming on electronic notarizations officially this July, isn't it, Ronnie? We do have an executive order that kind of threw us all into the bathwater kind of early, and of course nobody was ready for that. But Ronnie, do you have any future plans for doing any online stuff through your company?
So yes, of course, but here's the thing. So in Arizona, I actually got my electronic notarization, and I have everything that you need. Of course, now I'm renewing my commission. Sorry, my little kitten's like going off over here. I must be feeding time. But I have my stamp, and I just applied to renew my commission. So far, we've offered it to our clients. I've even said I can do it, but no one wants to use it, and the clients that want to use it don't even know how to use it. So I'm going to say once Amrock starts doing it, because that's my go-to, then we'll know what's going on with it, because I know ServiceLink is trying to do it, and I've heard notaries doing it with them, but I call it a cluster F, if you know what I mean. It's not coming off the way that it is, so I don't foresee it anytime soon. And in my little circle that I talk to regularly, I've actually said I don't foresee it anytime in the next year or so.
Yeah, there's some mixed emotions about that, or mixed opinions. The clients, the end users, the customers, the people who are buying and refinancing would love to do that if they were capable. Some aren't, computer savvy. The other kind of hitch is title companies would seem to be more in favor of it first, but lenders are kind of shying away a little bit because we don't know how this is really going to shake out legally if it ever was a court issue on a file. So the lenders are going, yeah, I still want that wet signature. So unless everybody, can be satisfied that it's a good thing to do, that it's beneficial and that it's legally sustainable, we're probably not going to get too many people on board too quick, for sure. So I wouldn't count my pennies on remote onlines. Valerie does quite a few electronic notarizations, right?
Yeah, I do not want to do closings. There's so much involved in a closing package. And even if you're working through a platform, there's so much involved. I did one hybrid and I vowed I would never do that again because the borrowers were not prepared. I got to the closing expecting that we were just going to do my paper documents, and oh heck no. And this is my biggest concern with the closings, the online closings, is who is going to prepare the signer. And there's no way I'm sitting in front of my computer trying with these clients with a little tablet trying to review their documents. I'm just not going to do it.
That's been my I guess holding me back a little bit on some of, how that's going to work. I do have clients waiting. I have a couple of title companies and I have a lot of investors ready to start. And I said, well, you're going to have to, I keep reminding them, you're going to have to vet and make sure these documents are going to work for you and they're going to be acceptable, because not every single county in Texas will record a digital signature or that kind of thing. So the thing that's happening is that to do what Valerie's facing, for example, it's almost like the other side is going to have to prepare the signers in some way, so that they understand what they're going to be facing when they open that computer. And that I would try to encourage them to use a computer and not use a tablet, not use a phone, but use something that's, has a bigger screen and they can see what they're doing and type, and it has a little more power. It's going to have a better connection. But, you have to educate them somehow beforehand, the signers. Otherwise, you're going to be spending, that's what I think, I foresee, spending customer service time just educating the signer on how to get through piece by piece by piece by piece. And you go through 200 pages of a loan signing, and that could be a nightmare.
I do
Phyllis,
a lot of trust packages. So I'm doing, 8 to 15 documents, but I have total control over it as far as what the signers are told, what the requirements are. I have my own requirements. They exceed the state requirements because I have learned with 2 different platforms what works and what does not work, and what is the most user-friendly way to do this with the platform I'm on. And so, but when you work for someone else and you're working through a signing service or you're working through some other platform you have no control over, nope, not doing it. Just not. And Christine, I have been told many times that every county in the state is supposed to accept the online notarized documents.
Yeah, they're supposed to, but there are definitely small counties that do not.
Yep. They also won't accept them e-filed, which
right.
Then you got that whole other thing. But the thing about the closings, I do want to remind all of you, is that like Texas, deeds, have to go through the county clerk. And if that county clerk is not going to accept an online notarized document, then that's probably one of the things that is holding up the lenders. Is every other document, there's no other document in there that's recorded and notarized except for the deed usually. And what if you're like, I got a call to do a deed in California? Well, Texas has a specific online certificate, and the California people would not accept it because LA County would only accept the California notary certificate regardless of where it was. And I was like, okay, well, I guess you're gonna have to do it in person.
Do we not also have to be concerned with the online notarization? Like I said, I'm doing my best to stay away from it, but I've got to be educated on it. But do we not also have to be concerned about the investor requirements, whether or not they will accept the documents in an electronic form? Even though, you know, maybe they should be ready for it, but not all investors will be ready. So if these loans are being sold on the secondary market, then that too could create a problem.
Yeah, well, fortunately though, Liz, that is not our
I
problem.
was going to say, that's exactly what I was getting ready to
But,
say. That's beyond our scope.
It is a
It's not
reason why it's taking so long.
exactly. It's not our problem. A lot of these things are not our problem. For instance, if we get documents, it's as long as we notarize the signatures, whether or not the counties are going to record. That should not be our problem.
It's not our problem. Like for me, when I'm doing those documents, because I do a lot of general online notarizations, and for me, I have a disclaimer on my website that I cannot guarantee that your county or your receiver is going to accept these documents. That's up to you
Right.
to take care of. They have to do the legwork to make sure that that document is going to be received by that receiver, because I can't guarantee that. I can guarantee that I'm going to notarize, do the electronic notarization. That's it.
Yeah.
But I cannot
Yeah.
guarantee anybody is going to accept. Just like I wouldn't be able to guarantee, even if I did a closing, I wouldn't be able to guarantee all of those documents would be accepted. I mean, our responsibility ends after we, properly notarize the documents. That's it.
I agree. I just brought up the investor part of it because we were talking about the county. So that kind of goes, in my mind, goes hand in hand. If we're concerned about whether or not the counties are going to be able to report, and we shouldn't. That's not our problem. Nor is it our problem if the investor is unable to accept the documents that have been put out there for us to notarize signatures. But
Now,
I take it back.
as far as the counties go too, we, you just let the person know. I let them know. You need to make sure that that county is going to accept this document,
Yeah,
because once I do this, it's done.
right.
So you need to make sure. I feel that sense of responsibility. If I know it's a document that has to be recorded, I'm going to tell them. Again, I'm going to re-emphasize, even though I already have this on my website, still make sure that the county is going to accept this. I do feel that sense of responsibility.
Makes sense. Cool.
Okay, we've been on over an hour now, so I think it's about time for us to start winding down. So
Does
we had
anybody
a
have
really
any specific questions they want to ask before Phyllis kind of tunes us out here?
I wanted to ask Ronnie, like, if he could explain a little bit about the different levels that you have of your membership. I mean, you were saying it's for Notary to Pro graduates, basically, right? Anyone that comes over anyway. But, like, what are your levels?
Sure. So we have Notary Star Lite, and so we have the free listing. And with the free listing, you get the same level of service. Just there is no phone number and there's no number for you to call. You can still access the free training videos. Notary Star Lite, you get all of the replays for our sessions, but you don't actually get to participate live, and you don't get the phone number. Your listing is boosted at Notary Star Lite membership level. And then for Notary Stars, the highest level, you get the phone number, you get the support, you can get phone to call, text, email, phone number to call. You get to participate in the live sessions. Every single one of them, we do also special events and things like that that you get to access. The difference between the levels is probably where you are in your journey as a notary. If you're just starting out or you need a back pocket safety net or a phone call, that would be why you're paying $10 more per month to be able to call anytime you want to get help. So that would be the $25 membership. If you don't really need that, but you still want to continue your education, the $15 a month really covers the replays, and those post about 1 week after we've done the live event. So you get access to the replays. And for both membership levels, I hop on sometimes and make videos that I don't record with questions, just to add more content for notaries. Like James DeVoy, one of our notaries here, wrote me today, said, hey, I want to send you some documents that, you know, I'd like for you to make some videos on. And I was like, oh, these would be great videos. So I'll, you know, and I usually make them like 10:30 at night when I have time. So I'll post those videos as well. So both membership levels get access to that. Free memberships don't get anything but the free training videos, and those will remain just those videos that we started with.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, I just wanted to say first, thanks for Carol for pointing me in the direction of Ronnie. And I also want to say thank you to Ronnie for personally calling me to answer my questions about getting me started. I was very impressed. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for
Before we
participating.
go, could Liz and Miss Phyllis and Miss Dennis send me an email at contact@notarystars.com? I'd like to talk to you about listing your training services on there. And then I'd also, Miss Valerie, I want to get your Facebook information so that I can put it as a place on Notary Stars for notaries to join the group and how they do that. I'm always looking for places to post for notaries to find more information.
Ronnie,
Say that
could you
email address again?
Could you repeat that contact information, please?
Sure, it's contact@notarystars.com.
That was hard.
I missed the stop.
Can
I've got
I
it in
say
the,
goodbye?
in the chats before you sign off. It's right there if you want to copy and
Thank you.
paste it. Otherwise, guys, have a good evening. Thanks for being with us. Hope to see you next month.
Thank you.
Carol,
I'm so
do you have anything to say?
Everybody stay safe.
We will.
And Ronnie, thank you.